approximately $350 million in production value to Uganda's economy. Wadulo Makanold for UBC News in Gulu District. Umeme has opened a new service station in Busia District in a bid to improve transparency and bring its services closer to over 11,000 of its customers in the area. Let's take a look at these details.
For over 24 years, the residents of Busia have been traveling to Tororo District in order to get service delivery from the main power distributor, Umeme.
Sometimes you could go to Tororo service station and pay for electricity connection, and they would ask you for 1 million shillings in order to be connected quickly. And sometimes they ask for that, you pay either 200,000 or 300,000. Even after paying the amount requested, nothing is done.
This has prompted the opening of a new service station in the district in a bid to address the mounting challenges and reduce on the amount of power stolen in the area.
We decided to open this office to get closer to our consumers, serve them better, and cut them off the unnecessary costs they've been incurring to be served from Tororo, which is 60 kilometers away as the nearest office.
The presence of the service station will enable an increase in business investments, employment opportunities for the youth, and improve the region's social and economic well-being.
Pick some boys from here, put them in the office. That's when we shall feel we are belonging. And when you have some contracts, please give us also, because Busia is ranked among the poorest, Bukit is among the poorest, and the only way we can address that is when some business opportunities, some jobs are coming, and even corporate social responsibility.
However, the organization has been called upon to not only provide quality service, but also be transparent in their work.
You know, there have been issues here, people reporting. You know, the kind of meters they give, there are those which are fake, there are those which are fake, there are those which are Chinese, there are those they tell me from Germany, from UK. Now, try to qualify which kind of meters people should have. Educate these consumers to know which type of meters are good for them. Because these ones which break every now and then, and they are inconveniencing people. What the boomerang is that it will come back to you, to the organization that you are offering fake services.
Over the past 12 years, an estimated 1.2 million customers have been connected onto Uganda's power grid, with the distribution efficiency increasing to 83%. Charlotte Amuge for UBC News.
Labor externalization is seen as an avenue for short-term employment in Uganda. However, analysts are proposing actionable strategies that interest migrants to reinvest their revenues and remittances for their social and economic well-being, in addition to fostering the country's economic growth agenda. Thousands of youthful Ugandans leave the country annually in search of employment overseas. It is estimated that over 500,000 Ugandan citizens currently live and work in the United Arab Emirates. It's on this situation that stakeholders in the public and private sector converged in Kampala to discuss issues pertaining to labor externalization.
The issue of bilateral agreements are quite important in trying to use the trade terminology, which is normally they use what are called non-tariff barriers. So the barriers to migration that might not be based on regulation and what can be reduced quite considerably with these kinds of bilateral agreements.
But the other issue also is that how much are we investing? Because we talk about remittances they are bringing, but how much are we investing in this sector? It is catch up, because labor externalization, if you remember, it began with the sending people to Iraq, okay, to Americans. They came with the dollars, at the beginning, and they splashed it around. So everybody got excited, and some people went underground.
The main focus was on formulating actionable strategies for integrating labor externalization in the country's agro-industrialization agenda. According to the Economic Policy Research Center, the organizer of the policy dialogue, the potential of labor externalization is undermined by challenges such as corruption, trafficking and limited financial management, among others.
It's going to be more lucrative in terms of participation. If also government involvement for its citizens, not a matter of saying we want to offload this excess labor and for these young ones, and you're already too many for the country to absorb you all. So sustainability also is linked to the negotiations we have, and also for ourselves in terms of linking these girls or the young men and women to more better information out there that you can go and come back and it's okay, and there are opportunities for you in case for this kind of money with going with in the mind of being a target worker. It's allowed. You'll be a target worker, but you know what you want to come back home to, than beyond apartments, because that's an over-flooded area.
Dr. Madina's sentiments are re-echoed by Professor Waso Balunywa, the principal, Makerere University Business School. With high rates of unemployment, poverty and tough economic environment, migration to purported greener pastures is unstoppable.
So externalization of labor is a result of our own internal weaknesses because we can't create jobs. So we must address that. How do we create these jobs? By increasing production, increasing productivity, creating value addition industries, so that this person who has more income is now demanding, I now want a new shirt instead of an old shirt. I want a new shoe instead of the old shoe.
But the issue to ponder on is what next for those who return home, sometimes to settle permanently. Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
The Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development launched the Uganda Development Bank Special Programs set to improve small and medium enterprises. The program focuses on provision of affordable financing.
I now officially
The launched Uganda Development Bank Special Programs serve to implement and manage interventions in the categories of SMEs, youth and children, from startups to existing businesses. This comes as an effort to bolster SMEs according to their advisory needs.
Basically, how can these businesses grow, prosper, and not collapse? Like, again, we know and we all like to talk about our businesses, not living to see their first birthday.
Government, through Uganda Development Bank, has provided a framework to support these special programs by financing their businesses in their innovative ideas.
And the financing is going to be very patient financing, very good rates.
The Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Matia Kasaija, attributes how SMEs are key drivers in fostering the creation of innovation in the country.
Over 8.5 million people are employed in this sector, and they account for approximately 90% of the entire private sector, generating over 75% of the gross domestic product.
The minister cautioned the banks to follow up these businesses to find out challenges and solutions to help in bringing back the funds. Partners in these special programs are optimistic on how the success of SMEs is also a success in creating revenue.
So when businesses are considered small and micro, there is hardly any revenue to collect. But when they grow and they thrive, then there is revenue that we can collect.
The program is to allocate loans in 3 categories of women prosper loans, youth startup and SMEs loans, providing a 20% of the capital. Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
In our corporate news, Bank of Uganda has granted Postbank Uganda a license that allows it to operate as a Tier 1 financial institution. In another development, Absa Bank Uganda has also unveiled a new cardless solution with minimal contact made at the ATM machines.
As mandated by the law, the bank will no longer be categorized as a credit institution but as a deposit-taking financial institution that gives loans to customers for purposes of consumption and investment to make profits.
Once you're in a more competitive space, it means that that journey to improve even further is extremely difficult. But we're confident that with the board and management and staff, we're ready for that.
Postbank, which has about 650,000 account holders, is owned by Government of Uganda with 100% shareholding. It's inevitable that the institution will have to optimize its potential and ably compete with the aggressive privately owned financial institutions.
We have a partnership with Uganda Development Bank, and this is really to enhance, to support the NDP3, National Development Plan 3, and we support SMEs that are involved in import substitution, agriculture production, export promotion, industrialization, and as UDB handles many of the bigger, large-scale SMEs, we handle the smaller ones that are involved in this activity.
Postbank's ascension to Tier 1 status brings the number of licensed commercial banks in Uganda to 27.
So, who do we owe this to? Obviously, our customers.
Despite a tough operating environment in 2020, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the bank made a net profit of 10 billion shillings. The institution boasts of having 49 branches countrywide and over 400 post agents. Dennis Ikoa for UBC Business.
The innovation, the first of its kind in Uganda's banking industry, seeks to provide convenience and security to tech-savvy customers.
When it comes to those times when you've forgotten the debit card at home, there is no need to move around without an option to get cash. You will simply use that phone that you have and be able to access funds at the ATM.
On the other hand, it comes in handy in the fight against the spread of coronavirus.
We are aware that the pandemic is really a problem, and touch points have been identified as one of the areas which would spread, the virus. So what we are looking at is to say, how can we make sure that our customers are able to engage with us with a high degree of safety and also convenience.
The cardless cash withdrawal allows customers to use a QR code generated from the Absa banking application on any smartphone device.
Once you're in the app, remember there is a security question that you answer. That is also another security feature. Then when you're in there, it's you having your phone, you've chosen the ATM QR option, you're going to be able to scan a code that is here at the ATM. That is also security. And then you proceed with the other options. So it's very secure, very quick, and very convenient for our customers.
In the recent years, Uganda's banking industry has made significant investments in digital innovation and infrastructure to improve service delivery and customer experience. Charlotte Amuge for UBC News.
The Business Roundup engaged with Professor Waswa Balunywa, the principal Makerere University Business School, on the matter of trade wars in the region and their consequences.
Do you think that's the right way to go?
Well, yes and no. Yes, in the sense that if Kenya has refused to take our sugar, has refused to take our milk, has refused to take our eggs, and yet those probably are some of the few things that we export to Kenya. And remember, they also refuse to take our maize. On what I would like to say, flimsy reasons. 3 years back, Kenya decided to import maize from Mexico rather than import maize from Uganda, and they banned maize from Uganda. And yet Uganda really can afford to feed Kenya very cheaply. But when you go to investigate what happened, it seems there are some people, I understand, some people in the Kenyan National Cereals Board who had interests in having things being bought in Mexico because of the commission that they got, rather than from Uganda, because in Uganda, ordinary Kenyan people just come with their lorries, go to the countryside and buy maize and take it to Kenya. That is the spirit of the East African community. But if Kenya bans our products, then you have no choice. You really have no choice. But it goes back to the weaknesses in our leaders not to appreciate that if they are going to work in one direction, they will definitely fail. Because if the Kenyan government now bans Ugandan's products, what do they expect? They should definitely expect that Uganda will retaliate. And this is what is happening. I mean, it's only fair that if we are able, and by the way, you will be amazed that some of the shareholders in some of these industries are Kenyan.
That's very true.
So what is the problem? Is it a problem of Kenyan politics? But it's not only Kenya. Tanzania refused to take our sugar. And, you know, the sugar is produced in Kachira, in Kinyara. It is there, it is marked, it is branded. But they say Uganda is importing, wants to export imported sugar, which they can verify. I am a board member in the Madivani. You can go and verify the amount of sugar that is produced. And you can even see where it is going. It is going to South Sudan, it's going to Congo. And there is no reason why it doesn't go to Kenya. But because in Kenya, the powerful politicians will prevent import of sugar from Uganda because they are importing sugar from Brazil. Yes. So it's unfortunate that we are getting to this stage, but Uganda has been boxed in, and Uganda must be able to take measures that protect itself. But Uganda is in a weaker position. A weaker position for the following reasons. One, it's a much smaller economy. Two, all your goods go through Kenya. If you remember one time, I think Kenya refused our petroleum products from coming in, and they crippled the economy. It's possible that they can do that. Luckily, we thank God that we have Tanzania as another route. So it's possible that we could go through Tanzania. But I think this is not the best way to go about business in the region.
If we are failing to trade within just the community of about 5 to 6 countries, and then this is the year when we ushered in the African Continental Free Trade Area. So do you think, what do you see ahead? Does this AFCTA have a future?
It's a stillbirth. The African, whatever it is a stillbirth. Because if for the last 1.5 years, our border with Rwanda is closed, and we have a lot, Rwanda and Uganda have a lot in common. But if the border is closed for 1.5 years,
actually it's not 1.5 years, we're about getting to 3 years.
Then it tells you a story about intracontinental trade, that it will not happen. And then, of course, we have other challenges. We have a powerful South Africa, which looks at dominating the African market. We have the French Africa, Francophone Africa. We have the Arab Africa. Now, if we ourselves here who have more things in common cannot cooperate, then what do you expect? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you.
When you think about what we are supposed to do for the businesses to be able to engage the Onaga sector, it's really about supporting them on compliance and helping them to become better, formidable businesses that can participate, but also that can thrive. And to think about it, SMEs contribute about 70% to this country's GDP. That's a lot of a contribution. Now, if we do not complement them or add them onto this story, which is an oil and gas story, we are only letting them down.
In our Sounds of Business, we take you to the Kingfisher Oil Field development on the Lake Albert Basin. The oil field was discovered in 2006 and will be one of the first major upstream oil projects in Uganda. We are in the festive season, a period of the year synonymous with celebrations. Now, our advice as the Business Roundup team is for you not to drop your guard against the coronavirus. Be safe at home and on the road. From the team, I must say good night.
Everyone deserves more this festive season, which is why MTN Momo is giving you more Senkyu points on your MTN Momo withdrawals at agent locations. Get 150 Senkyu points for every 1,000 shillings spent in withdrawal fees. More Senkyu points means you get more free minutes, more free MBs, more free SMSs, and more free Momo Pay shopping. To use your Senkyu points, dial *141#.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
We just love to The global COVID-19 pandemic led the nation to 2 years of unprecedented learning, disruptions and closures. Now it is the time when the country is getting focused on upcoming school reopening. This is not a time for despair. This is a time to deepen community engagement for safer schools reopening. Rural Broadcasters Owners Association (RUBA), in partnership with Ministry of Education, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, World of Bingwa, Teacher Talk Magazine and Stanbic Bank will engage parents, learners, teachers, school proprietors through an inclusive National Safe Back to School Symposium. The National SB2S Symposium is a countrywide 3 days of deliberation hosted at UBC and aired simultaneously via radio stations and televisions from Monday 3rd January to Wednesday 5th January 2022 from 11 a.m. to midday. The speakers will include the Minister from Education, Youth and Child Affairs, leaders of teachers' unions, school proprietors, parents and private sector. The speakers will be supported by media personalities to convey messages in different languages as well as igniting conversations customized to geographical and social reach. Do not miss. Let's discuss safe school reopening.
Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining UBC as we inspire you. My name is Sandra Kahunde and welcoming you to 365 Days. And of course I'm joined by
Rukid Edward Kijanangoma is my name, and we welcome you to this 365 Days, a show that will bring you a recap of what actually happened in as far as the State House activities are concerned.
And before we do that, please kindly allow us to take off our masks. We're fully vaccinated and tested.
Oh yes, and but this doesn't mean that you shouldn't wear your mask, but for us we have done this for purposes of being clear, so that you can hear us clear and you get whatever we are saying, but it's very, very imperative that you wear your mask.
It's been a long year, 2021. Not so, Kija?
Oh yes, it's been a long year, Kahunda, and of course it's been punctuated by so many things, some good, some not so good, and some of the highlights, of course, in this program that you should expect are the swearing in of President Yoweri Museveni, and also in this program we're going to be looking at the COVID-19 immunization, that exercise that happened, of course, the President and the First Lady being immunized.
Yes, more highlights as Kija puts it. We shall also be giving you a recap of the anti-corruption event that the President graced right there. Something that we need to fight in our nation, and not forgetting Kira Motors, one of our own, while boosting the economy after it has been hit hard when it comes to the pandemic.
And of course, to start us off is the presidential swearing in, and President Yoweri Museveni was on the 12th of May this year sworn in as Uganda's elected president, having won the heavily contested race to the country's top job in January this year. In attendance were several heads of state and dignitaries, and the ceremony took place at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds. Take a watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you have been waiting for has now come. The people of Uganda have been waiting since the 16th of January 2021